Welcome to the first episode of the Two Taste Podcast. I'm your host, David O'Han, joining my co-host, Nick Treadway. Nick, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good today. Sunday post Valentine's Day, but we're not going to get too much into that. But kind of glad that the holiday's over and we can move on with the rest of February.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. There's so many cool sports that are going on. This week was crazy. Let's take a look into one Super Bowl breakout, one quarterback collapse in the Super Bowl, and then unfortunately one NFL rising star facing serious questions. And now the Big Ten might be trying to rewrite the entire playoff system. Yes, this was an insane week in sports. Plus, it was Valentine's Day, but we don't really got to talk too much about that. Let's dive right into the Super Bowl. Nick, what are your first thoughts about the Super Bowl in general?
My first thought, I'm just so happy about how right I was when we talked last week before the Super Bowl. I said it would come down to the Seattle Seahawks defense, and it did. I mean, holy man. I mean, hold on, let me make sure I got this right here. Just looking at Seattle's defense, I mean, they had, a couple important turnovers. They had 4 interceptions in total that game. I mean, just one interception can turn the whole game on its back. But oh my gosh, 4! I mean, let's do it. And I'm just so happy that I was right because that's not so often that actually happens. But I knew it would. I was telling people all. I told David last week it would come down to the Seattle Seahawks defense, and it did. And it also just at the same time, Drake May just as big as the hype was for the game for him, I don't think he met those standards. And so, unfortunate for Drake May, but like I told David last week, it's only up for Patriots fans. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. I think I love what you said about Seattle's defense. I said they're going to blow them out, and I really think they did. Like, the stat line for Drake May, yes, he had 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, but it really wasn't. His stats don't show how he played. He played awful. And, I mean, he got better throughout the fourth quarter. I really think the first interception he threw when they scored and it was 19-7, they started kind of driving, and then he just threw it deep and it just was to no man's land. He started seeing ghosts like Darnold did when he was on the Jets, and I really thought that's what just ended the game. But 6 sacks for 43 yards, and his QBR was third worst ever in the Super Bowl, posting a 16.3. I think that's also got to kill you, and I think also Sam Darnold, yes, he didn't have the greatest game the stats say, 19 for 38 for 202 yards, 1 touchdown only. But difference was Sam Darnold stepped up into the pocket. I don't know if you remember.
He also took care of the football. I mean, 0 interceptions.
And no fumbles. Because that
has been an issue.
That killed Drake May. But I remember watching him. He moved. He looked like he was dancing out there. He would step up, hit him with the side step, move, and just take off. And I thought he played an amazing game. He really should have 2 touchdowns when he escaped, I believe, Williams from the Patriots, and he overthrew Najigba.
Yeah.
And I was like, that should be a walk-in touchdown.
Yeah.
But also, let's talk about Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker was a dog. 27 carries, 135 yards, no touchdowns, kind of like his fantasy stats, too.
I didn't have him, so I didn't have that issue.
Charbonnet was the real touchdown machine for them, but they didn't even have him for this game. But I just think back to it, Seattle's defense was a killer. I think it was a nightmare, especially when you are sitting in cover 4 the whole game. It's really hard for Drake May or any quarterback to get confused. Okay, are they blitzing or are they not blitzing? Because Seattle, they rushed 4 defenders the whole game, and they'd send their least amount blitz in the whole NFL, and they sent the cornerback blitz, which I love from Mike McDonald, one of the youngest head coaches. Shout out from Roswell, Georgia.
Oh, man, I did not know this.
Yeah, I went to Centennial High School.
Oh, my gosh. See, there you go.
Just sitting in cover 4 quarters, normally if you bring a safety down to make it single coverage back there, you can kind of tell, okay, they're come in for the blitz, let's change it up. But when you only have 4 guys rushing, just like the Eagles did against the Chiefs last year, changes up the whole game plan.
I mean, yeah, and it worked, and I knew it would. I mean, we just talked about, we did this, useless comparison against, different teams that played the Patriots, and I used my Falcons as the midpoint, seeing where both teams compared. And I remember saying, Falcons played a close game with the Patriots, and the Seahawks did not play a close game with the Falcons. And so just seeing that, and it just comes down, like I had said previous week before, Seattle's defense played stellar against that game against the Falcons with, like I said, a special teams touchdown. And so just seeing seeing the Seahawks success in the Super Bowl, it's so heartwarming because I predicted it. And so um, just glad to see that my claims there were backed up. And just love it for the city of Seattle going forward as well. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, I Seahawks are what got me into the NFL, what got
that's
me
right.
into football,
That's
Legion of
right.
Boom. So seeing the 1 yard line where they decided to throw it instead of running it with a guy that's nickname was Beast Mode definitely hurt.
Yes.
And I remember an interviewer asked Sam Darnold, "Oh, would you run it or throw it on the 1 yard line?" He goes, "Well, clock management, I don't know. I think I'd throw it." We all know he'd run the ball. Like I'm not throwing the ball after what I've seen.
And forgot to mention this as well. I mean, other than the interceptions, um, Seattle was also able to recover one fumble as well. So adding on to the four interceptions, that's five turnovers. With the interceptions and the fumble. And so, I mean, gosh, just another example of the defense changing the game and just kind of stealing that clock time away from the Patriots, which I think resulted in their win.
What nickname you like better, the Dark Side or the Legion of
The
Boom?
dark side.
That's what Seattle's defense calls
I know,
themselves.
I know, and and they backed up. Like you can't be called the dark side and then like not do anything on defense in the game because you're gonna get that title revoked very soon. But just to go play like that in the Super Bowl, give another reason why you're called the dark side. That's bad. I mean, that's badass, honestly. Like, keep that name, keep that defense. Let's go. I mean, holy.
Yeah, I think both teams will be two teams back right in the conversation to win it all. I know this year was the least quarterback stat playoff with no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar, but
Injuries.
eh, obviously injuries. But I know some people say, was this kind of like a easy gimmick playoff? I don't think it was at all. I think nobody beats that Seattle team. I really don't. When they're playing like that and they're clicking, I don't think anybody beats them that year. But
Yeah. No, and just gosh, I'm not even trying to bandwagon here for Seattle because I have a team, but like, come on, you got to as the fan base of Seattle Seahawks, you got to be on top of the world right now after that game, and after a great season like that. I mean, I'm not going to bandwagon. I'm going to stick with my team. But
fun team to watch. But
yeah.
speaking of your team and
Oh,
not being up high, probably one of the lowest
yeah.
fan bases you are, probably shouldn't kick a man when he's down. But let's talk about James Pierce Jr. I know last week me and you talked, and you thought, oh, no, I think he's going to come back. Well,
Very,
the two
very
counts.
nice.
So he's facing multiple felony charges, including 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Crashed an SOV. It crashed an SUV into uh, someone's car.
His ex girlfriend's Rakia
Oh my
Jackson
gosh,
multiple
the
times.
WNBA. Jeez. I mean, yeah, I was pretty naive of me. I'm going to be super 100% honest from last week. Did not know 100% of his, all of the details to the extent of what crimes that he did. And just looking at it now for this week, yeah, no, really naive of me to say all of that last week. Because
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
I think it's awful. I mean, I know Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Ray Rice is like the one close example where his career was over. Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt had came back, but it wasn't the severely as bad as this. He also aggravated battery of a law enforcement officer and fleeing the police. But no, this isn't funny at all. You see how many officers it took to like hold him down? It was 7 officers. That's how good of an NFL player he was.
I mean, come on, he's a professional football player, man. What do you expect? Hey, if one cop can hold him down, let's start getting him in the draft, huh?
Oh yeah, but no, it took 7. Took 7, and I think what also makes it worse was the NFL honor ceremony. His mom, a couple days prior, talked about how much of a man of gold, man he's changed, and man of like heart of gold that he's had, and that he's changed so much as a person. I knew he had big character issues at coming out of Tennessee.
Off the field issues.
Oh yeah, and I think it's just sad, and I I don't know if I want to say I hope he gets another chance because that you got to see how this plays out because it's still very early, but it's not looking good. And I think this is not great, but I believe the one thing you could say is what gets players their second chance is how much talent he has. And he's still a young guy and it's talented. And if he sucked, he's done. He's going to jail.
Yeah, no. And like reminds me of and something I'll get back to in a second, but I just want to say everybody knows when this came out the other day that then the Falcons defensive coordinator addressed it as well. This is and he quotes, well, and I quote, I was obviously disappointed. It's an unfortunate situation. I just don't have all the details yet of where this thing's going. And this was probably about 3 days ago. Yes, it was February.
Yeah, Jeff Ulbrich, right?
What's that? Yeah, Jeff Ulbrich. And so yeah, he said just don't have the details yet or where this thing will go. So we'll see. It's still so early, and we're not there yet anyway. And so yeah, things aren't really looking good for Pierce in the future. On contrary to what I said last week. And so going back to what you said. Yeah, if he's boo-boo, he's getting let go, and he's getting taken to jail. And this just reminds me of that one Nick Saban press conference where he is telling the media like just giving his whole speech on second chances, which I think is kind of funny now that especially if that guy that he was talking about wasn't just not good, Nick Saban probably would have said anything about it, and it probably would have been a news alert that you saw that hey, former Alabama Crimson Tide player gets let go. And is, kicked off the team now. And so it really does have to do with how good of a player you are. Then I'm sure the Falcons are really fighting hard for, to keep him, even though that's a little bit unlikely just because of the nature of the charges that he got. And so no say on that. I was really optimistic last week, but yeah, he's got to do his time.
How do you think he is out for a while, or what do you think happens? Because I know his bond was $20,000, $20,500.
Yeah, I mean, which is not. I mean, heck, that's half of people's tuition here. So I mean, that money could get raised, or it could get. Someone could pay his bond for him. But NFL punishment wise, I don't know. Like, I feel like right that has to do with like that's the
they do their own investigation.
Yeah, and so they still got to do that. So really, if I'm talking to James Pierce face to face right now, you're definitely out for the season. What comes after that? I don't know, dude. I don't know. So it's hard to talk to a player like that. And you're like, dang man, you did all that. Like, come on, man.
Oh, just throw it away. Like, threw it your whole career away. That's career suicide.
And I'm sure it's cliche to tell him, hey, that's all on you, man. Like, I have nothing to do with this. But, like, I would legit say that, like, hey, man, you kind of dug this hole here. Like, I'm trying to help, man. But come on. It's like it's one thing if you got one charge. But you got a list, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. He's got to do his time. And that'll be great for him if he can pay his bond. And so, obviously, as a person with a good heart, I'm hoping for that. But
I know it's hard, but let's jump in, or let's
leave that.
Brighter topic. Big Ten kind of pushes for a 2014 college football playoff with no league titles. That means no conference titles, so no SEC, no Big Ten, no ACC titles. How do you feel about that, Nick? I know. Or should I just break it down how this would work?
Well, I can give some light on how I feel about it. I really didn't start thinking about the legitimacy of conference titles until we got into our situation in December of this past football season where, we were playing Georgia. We'd already, during the regular season, had won the SEC based off regular season records. Which is why we were the number one seed in the SEC championship, and then Georgia was right behind us, and so that might be flipped if I can remember. No, we had won.
Yeah, we only had one SEC loss.
Yeah, we only had one SEC loss, and Georgia had also had one, but we had won on a tiebreaker.
Yes.
And so going into that match, I remember seeing a lot of stuff on social media about if Alabama loses, they cannot be left off the playoffs, which I kind of agreed with because I mean, a part of our resume, and I think a part of what that tiebreaker was winning against 4 straight SEC opponents consecutively in a row. And so, obviously, when I agreed with that, I did not know that we would go into the SEC championship and, play how we played, which is, still a disappointment for today. I've kind of repressed that, in my memory. I don't know about you, David, but I choose not to think about that game. But and then obviously it even rose the question more of that when we lost. How negatively was this going to affect us? And the next morning, and I called it too. The next morning, the AP poll, just not the AP poll, the college football playoff committee just took that and said, "Yeah, that game never happened," and kept us in the same spot. And so now I bet that raises uh, the question of how, like, are these conference championships, like, how much do they actually mean to the bigger picture, especially when it comes to your rankings or your placement in playoffs?
I think that I love the 2014 playoff. I know for me as a football fan, I would be more excited about it. 12 teams. I like 12 teams. No matter what, someone's going to get the short end of the stick. Someone's going to be pissed off. 24, yes, it's huge. There's a lot of teams. Probably half of them don't deserve to win it. And I know college football is all about money, but I think you're telling me that the top four teams, Indiana whooped our ass, and I think our defense played great until the gate was just over. But you don't think Bloomington would have been rocking to have a home playoff game against Alabama? And they were chanting earlier in the season, "We want Bama." I vividly remember seeing videos of that. I just think it'd bring so much more flavor and so much more fun, and have it start the second week on a Friday, Saturday, so it doesn't have to compete with the NFL, and have the semifinal games on, or the quarterfinal on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And have the first two rounds be home playoff games, and the top 8 teams will receive buys. And I think that's totally fair. And then if you want to keep the corporate money, quarterfinals, semifinals, championship, all be New Year's Six Bowls. But I'm a huge fan of this. I like it. It'd be 23 teams, and only one group of five or group of six team would get in, which and plus Notre Dame, because they're never going to join a conference.
Forgot about them. Yeah.
But I think it'd be great because I think you give the shots to Texas, Vanderbilt last year, Notre Dame, because hypothetical win for Notre Dame every single time Miami won.
Right.
So
Freaking Notre Dame social media.
I'm excited about it. I don't know about you. We'll see if it gets passed. I know SEC, they are more favored towards the 16-team playoff format, but I personally like the 24 team. And do you think this is just good for football to go from 2 to 4 to 12 to 24? Do you think this is good? Because I know it's tiring on the kids, but how do you feel about this?
I think it's good because just about every sport you can think about has those kind of playoffs where it's not just like, I mean, 12 is a small number when you compare it to different sports organizations that do the postseason format. And so I think it's good for CFP to do it as well. Because, I mean, like you just said, it gives teams like, Texas and Vanderbilt a chance to, fix some of their mistakes and rally and, get far in the playoffs. And so with the 12 team, that just kind of limits it.
Oh, yeah, because I think Texas, the Ohio's, I know, well, we can get a whole nother like dead horse with, or hypothetical with playing out of conference opponents early, because Texas wasn't rewarded for playing Ohio State and barely losing to them.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
And some people are saying Alabama may drop out against Ohio State because does it really matter to play? And I think they improved so much from where they started to where they finished. Because Arch Manning, he was ass at one point.
Yeah, no, he was.
He was awful, and then he got gradually better. And I don't think they would have won it. I think no one was really beating Indiana.
Maybe we just never know.
Maybe Georgia.
Maybe.
I know they lost to Ole Miss. That's a whole entire discussion, but I personally like it.
Yeah, and 100% agree with you. Gives those teams that opportunity, and so yeah, that's my take on it.
And now let's jump into college basketball talks. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, David Ohan, here with Nick.
Yep.
We had to skip a day and come back on a Monday, so this isn't normal. Normally it's just we film it all in one day, but schedules not aligning, but it aligned today, so that's good.
Mostly my schedule.
We're not blaming anybody here, but
Not
let's
pointing
jump
fingers.
into Alabama basketball. I know right now there's some great basketball games going on. Mainly Houston, Iowa State right now. But let's talk about the Crimson Tide basketball. And last week, sadly, we have to let go of Bediako and the NCAA not letting him stay. Nick, what are your thoughts on this?
Um, what did I say last week? Something about not caring about what they do because it's literally their job to decide what should be done about Charles Bediako, and I still hold that viewpoint. I found out about that news, and I kind of don't care. And it's super funny because it kind of voids some of the wins and losses that we had, mostly losses with Bediako. And one of those losses being the Florida game, that 177 loss that we had. And so, okay, that loss is kind of voided for March Madness purposes. Fine. We also lost to Tennessee while playing Charles Bediako. That loss is now voided as well. Fine. I mean, and we had some okay wins in there. I mean, beating Auburn was pretty cool, but depending on how Auburn does for the rest of the season, will that help us or hurt us? And when it comes to March Madness, we'll have to see, right? And so, yeah, like I said last week, don't really care, and don't really care now. So, I mean, sorry, Charles, judge made their decision.
Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry,
Wow.
Charlie.
I don't know how to feel. I think he's played enough, so I thought he was just going to be fine. I understand why he did sign a contract. I can't believe they let him play for as long as they did, which is nuts.
Yeah, what was that?
6 or 7 games.
Oh boy.
That they let him play. But yeah, I think back to the Auburn loss. Yes, Auburn's looked really shitty at times. They did beat Florida. They just randomly beat Florida.
Can't forget that. Yeah. Shoot, I forgot that.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I think they beat them by like 10 or something. But
Yeah.
Auburn, I think a rivalry game is so hard to like judge because they know you so well and they just want to beat you. And you don't think that, I don't know exactly what their stadium's called, but the Auburn home game for that, I know my friend camped out.
Neville.
Neville?
Yeah.
Neville Arena or Dome?
Neville Arena, actually.
Neville Arena.
Yeah.
Weird name.
Neville, it might be. Sorry.
Neville. It's fine. It's Auburn.
You War Eagle folks.
Don't say that.
You Auburn folks.
Yeah, there we go.
Cow pasture. That's good.
I like that. But Neville Arena, my friend camped out since Thursday. So you knew it was going to be a great game. And I remember watching that game, and it was just great energy. I personally, I feel like I would camp out till Thursday for that game. That's pretty cool. I wonder how bad it's going to be here when we play them here on the 7th. Hopefully we can sweep them. But, yeah, I mean, I'm upset, but I don't think it's right that he should have been playing. Yes, he signed a contract, but, life moves on. I think the projections, they think we're a better team without him. And personally,
I honestly think so.
I think they are. I did like him, but he just was.
Yeah, no.
He's a cone on offense. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know he cut really well, but Alabama's known for shooting threes.
Yeah.
He couldn't shoot. I think him and Clint Capella shoot the same amount. It's awful. And you know how bad Clint Capella is. I know he's a role player now, but when he's on the Hawks, God, his form was awful.
Yeah, I had to take a shot at ATL there.
Well, he's on the Rockets now. But yeah, God, he's. I mean, yes, I hope he has a great career, and I'm glad he's staying to get his education, which I think.
Time out. Do you know he's from Switzerland?
Who?
Clint Capella.
Yeah, I did. I thought you were going to say Bediako.
No, not Bediako. All right. That's crazy. I didn't know this.
Yeah, so he could have been played on Team World, but, he kind of sucks, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's better off without him.
And they got smoked. Or they didn't get smoked. They played great games in the All-Star game, but that's besides the point. Wemby looked great, but Bediako, I think, doesn't fit what Alabama needs, and I think
in the story, really,
they're going to do great in the tournament without him if they can stay healthy. Because we are stakes, man. Because what? One guy goes down because his leg is cramping. I don't know, half the time.
And the next thing you know, we're losing a 20-point game. And it just happens every time we have injuries. And I feel like I see Nato come up to the mic after the game too much. And he's like, well, we're just injured right now, Or he's just like, you can tell that he hates seeing those injuries because he knows how much better the team can perform with everybody healthy. And so, lately, though, not too many injury troubles.
Oh, yeah.
And what we've been seeing with that we've been seeing wins. Ole Miss, South Carolina.
I feel like, yes, those are wins. Even though the SC is really hard, those are awful wins.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I mean, Texas A&M was a great win. I don't want to say it's a great win, but they started out hot.
They did.
They've slipped a couple, like lost a few games in a row, I think
Yeah.
now. Since losing to us, I know they got blown out by Florida. You can fact check me on that.
Texas A&M. I'll get back to you on that. Keep going.
But I just think that's the easy part of the schedule. I'm glad you stub your toe anytime in college basketball. I'm glad we didn't. I know we play Arkansas on Wednesday. That'll be a really fun game.
Yeah.
I look forward to that. And I know we play at Baton Rouge, who gave Tennessee actually some trouble this weekend.
Texas A&M, if you want to use it by definition, blowout, fared better in their game against Florida than we did. So it was an 88-67 game. So do with that what you will.
88-67 game. Where was it played at?
It was played, I believe, at Texas A&M.
Okay, so I'm going to give us that, basketball math doesn't add up. We beat A&M. They lost 2 points less, I believe, to Florida than we did. But Florida, I think, is the hardest place to play right now in the SEC. I don't want to say
Your math doesn't happen.
my math isn't mathing.
Yeah. Actually, yes, it is. I'm stupid. That's on me. 23 was our score differential.
Yep.
And 21
Yep.
is there. Okay.
I know we're news media majors sometimes.
At the end, we let Florida put 100 on us.
But they had no turnovers in the first half of that game. That's really hard to beat a
I still
team.
think somehow our losses are more embarrassing, but apparently that doesn't exist in March Madness, like I said. So
I'll take it.
We'll take it.
I guess let's jump in. I mean, we handled Ole Miss pretty well. I mean, the first half was pretty tight, excuse me. And then we played South Carolina, which you were operating.
I wasn't doing anything.
You were shadowing. What were you shadowing, Nick? I hope we can find the clip of you sitting there while Nate was losing his mind, kind of daydreaming, it looked like. You didn't look.
No, he wasn't losing his mind, I would say. He was, I'm looking at this video now. He was losing his mind, my bad. That second half I was really into it. During the first half, I mean, we had so many clutch threes. I think by halftime we had about 9 threes that were made out of them attempted. And by the time the second half hit, we were up the whole game, but I think we just kind of started playing a little. I don't know. I started becoming a little disinterested. You can see it on my face there.
It's South Carolina. It's 11-4.
It's South Carolina, and we're somehow kind of keeping them in the game while it's still like a 10 to 15 point game the whole time. We're still somehow keeping them in the game somehow by just like some of the mistakes we were making. And also, I'd had a long day. I'd coached soccer and coached David and had a PA announce high school soccer, and so that just drains a person on its own. And so, shot at David.
Throwing
by the way,
me under the bus, man. Wow.
Shot at David if that wasn't clear, but really tired at that point. And so the second half, we're just kind of like, messing around. I'm like, all right, dude.
Shout out to you winning your soccer game, and I guess I don't want to announce it, but you may be interim coach tomorrow night at Birmingham. Because I know
that's just a title I'm giving myself. There's other coaches that'll be there helping me tomorrow, but our head coach still it's got the flu right now. I think our whole soccer team needs to quarantine because we had different people left and right getting sick. I had COVID 2 weeks ago.
I had COVID. I had the flu about like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so what Tober has. Tober called me tonight, and he was like, 90-something% sure that I won't be at the game. We have a game in Birmingham tomorrow. 90-some% sure that I won't be there. I was like, okay, that's great to hear. That's good. But like I told Dave, pulling as a 2020 Steve Sarkisian for those of y'all that know ball. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope y'all can win. I don't
hope so.
know how good the team you're facing is.
That's a whole other podcast we could do. I was getting ready to pull up the stats, but if we got time, let me know. But they haven't been too. They've lost a couple of games. 6A opponent for those of y'all that know high school sports. We're North Team My Clip's also 6A, so just looking forward to that. But yeah, no, with coaching on Saturday, and then going into the game, things kind of got disinteresting. After if only y'all could see David right now. Things kind of got disinteresting in the second half. And so that's why if that video is still playing over my head right now and Connor's editing it in, that's why I'm kind of disinterested.
Oh yeah, shout out Connor, our
Yes.
great editor. I love him to death. Great friend.
It went to Mountain Brook, actually, another 6A opponent.
Oh yeah, and in Birmingham. But
Yes.
you want to jump back into basketball?
No. But yes.
Wow.
No, I will say though, really impressed with like our shooting, at least in the first half. That from what I saw on Saturday against South Carolina, you know, I think our defense I think we can always stand up on defense. Any game I talk about with Alabama basketball, can always be a little bit cleaner on defense. But seems like every game we let like such easy field goals happen.
Oh, I got a hot
Right there in
take.
the
Do you think until Nate Oates, if he ever does leave, I mean, eventually he will, do you think the defense will get better once he leaves?
Yes, he is, because I think he's so offensively minded. He's just that's his blue collar basketball, which is ironic because there seems to be nothing blue collar about not having a good defense, but it's blue collar in other ways. He has a kind of different definition on it. He says like the players get blue collar points, based off things that they do that don't lead to scoring, which is like a good like batting down the ball, or blocking a good shot. Like that would be a blue collar point.
Oh yeah.
Or a turnover, and someone on Alabama gets it. That's a blue collar point. That's kind of how he runs his team, and so got to put more emphasis on things that that in that way that's tough and gritty. When I think tough and gritty, I think good defense, but apparently we don't all think the same. So love Nate Oates. And if Nate Oates happens to, ever hear this, that's not a shot, Nate Oates. So,
I like him a lot too. I think he's a top. Ooh, I don't know. I'll say top 4 coach in the SEC.
yeah.
Top
In the
3
SEC.
coach. I know there's some great coaches there. Florida coach, young guy. He'll be there for a while. I know. Tennessee coach, he's kind of on his way out. I'm trying to Rick Barnes. That's his
Rick
name.
Barnes, yes.
He's a great coach. I think he coached KD at Texas. He's yet to even see a Final Four, which is great for Alabama fans. Unfortunate for
It's
Tennessee.
kind of a head scratcher.
Yeah, I
Especially
can't
how
believe
good of a
it.
coach he is.
They've had so many great opportunities. Just last year, they ran into a buzzsaw, which was Houston, which was
Yeah,
the better. They were the number 1 and number 2 defensive team. So we'll see. I know we're going to get down later about March Madness dangerous teams. They're one of my dangerous teams I will be talking about. As dangerous team doesn't mean they're going to win it all, but someone you just don't want to face. But speaking of March Madness, let's talk about Alabama's ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Bracketology from ESPN has Alabama as a 4 seed, moved up 1 since last week. They will right now face the California Baptist, and then second round probably face Louisville or South Florida. Nick, what do you feel like is the Tide ceiling? I know it says right here projected ceiling or highest projected seed is 3 seed. Do you think that's true for the case? And what are your thoughts? And how far can the Tide really go?
Yes, as long as we stay healthy. Gosh, which is seems like an impossible wish these days. As long as we stay healthy, just continue to be clean, and our efforts, especially offensively. Gosh, I think we can. I mean, that's what's so fun about March Madness. I know we talk about different kind of playoffs.
Oh,
where,
yeah, because you don't know who's going to be there at that stage. That's the problem. We could look at it, and if it was chalked, where every high seed won, I don't think they go that far, me personally, but you never know. My ceiling is if they are stuck at the 4 seed, I think they beat Louisville. And right now, we'd have to play Michigan. I think we would get our ass kicked by Michigan. I think we're a Sweet 16 team. Unfortunately, I know we made the Elite 8, and you never know. Villanova or St. Mary's could upset Michigan, which
this is hard to say.
not going to happen. But if we get the 3 seed,
Yeah, given our past resume of playing these top ranked teams in Alabama basketball, just seeing how we have played with some of them, it's just kind of hard to believe that we could, you know, get past those same kind of teams in the postseason.
Yeah, the top caliber teams, just
Yes.
like last year, Duke.
Yeah.
That was an amazing team.
Right. And watching our game against, I think it was Arizona earlier this season, just kind of reminiscent of Duke, reminiscent of how we act against top caliber teams. So hopefully we can hopefully, this is why we practice, why we go home and practice. Hopefully we can get past that. We still got about a month. And so, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct. I think Alabama, those games, kind of shies away and only plays a great 20 minutes of basketball. They hung in with Arizona and Gonzaga. And then I know Gonzaga, they right now are kind of slipping. I think they're still a really dangerous team that I wouldn't want to play. I think they could still, I don't like them at a 4 seed. I think really they're a 3 or 2 seed. But I think the problem is they will play a great 20 minutes of basketball. And I feel like our problem is, yes, injuries, but inconsistency. Because we can be hot. And if we're hot, I believe no one can beat us when we're hitting threes if we do it for 40 minutes. We do it for 20 minutes and we shit the bed and go ice cold.
Yeah.
And you play one of those teams with a Yaxel Lindenberg or a Koa Pete or a Cam Boozer or UConn with Dan Hurley, and they're always a solid team. You're not going to beat that team.
No.
And I know St. John's beat UConn, and they're hot. We beat them earlier in the season, but I don't know if I'd want to play that team now because you never know. Teams from November to now could be totally different.
Oh, too different.
For better or worse.
Yeah, exactly.
But so you think Sweet 16 or Elite 8 is the ceiling for Bama?
I think we go Elite 8, and we'll see. Because I feel like we were looking probably at some of these same kind of issues. Especially, I remember when we lost Ole Miss last year when they came to town.
They're a lot better of a team.
Tuscaloosa. And when you get these losses, basketball fans start to wonder, like, okay, how far can we make it? And the tournament, we have like these issues that were, kind of brought up in losses like that, and that's why, like, I'm gonna say this point again. You go home and you practice. You go back to your stadium and you practice. I know Nato's just figuring this out. I think he can get us. I think he can get us to Elite 8.
100%. I mean, what, it'd be 3 in a row? I think the end of this well, never mind. I shouldn't say the end because at the beginning of the year, this looked like a very scary 3 games. But I guess when you get into the SEC tournament, we'll really find out. But I just believe, if we go far in the SEC tournament, we could get ranked higher, and I think we could be a great team once again and go to the Elite 8 and have a higher seed and avoid one of those dangerous 1 seeds in the Sweet 16. But I think if they lose early, I think you could be sitting them at a 5 seed and going home in the either second or the third round. But let's look to the next. Speaking of, I guess, next week in the future, we play Arkansas on Wednesday, who's number 20. Arkansas, I believe, is the right now 2 seed in the SEC. They are led by Calipari, who has not performed that well in the NCAA tournament. They had the biggest lead ever blown last year to Texas Tech in the final few minutes when they had the game won. And I know they were a 10 seed, but they were very, very talented, healthy 10 seed when they got there. But they're right now, the past 6 or 7 games, they are 6-1. Last loss to Kentucky at home, and they come here to the Tide and Coleman and play us. How do you think that game shapes out? And this is a huge resume booster, I feel like, for the Alabama Crimson Tide with how talented that team is that we're facing. And do you think, I know everyone has a chance of winning. What do you think? It's a good chance we beat Arkansas or no? How do you feel about this?
I don't know. Calipari is a good coach, right? And so, but so is Nato's. Now, I'm not going to compare both of them to each other right now, but they just got to have the boys right. And I got to have the boys right for Wednesday night. Because this game could easily, I think you could flip a coin and someone wins this. It's one of those games.
I think it's going to be a shootout. I think if we can't stop Darius Acuff Jr., the freshman guard for Arkansas, who's averaging 21.2 points last game.
By the way.
Oh, yeah. By the way, He's been on a tear at Auburn or against Auburn. He had 31. LSU had 28, 24, 21, 31. He's just been their leading scorer consistently. And I think if we can't stop him, I think it's going to be a long night for the Tide. But then,
Wow. But get this. ESPN has us at 66% in the matchup predictor.
so you betting on the Tide
No.
Wednesday night?
No. Are you crazy? No.
Why they already give you they give you a heart attack enough already?
Mm-hmm.
That's 100% fair. I will bet on the Tide to beat Arkansas, and I guess we could look. Is the spread out yet or no?
No, it doesn't look like it. Actually, no. That's crazy because I swear the spread comes out from football like weeks before, but yeah, no. Or maybe it's just not showing up on ESPN.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now to see if I can find it. It says February 8th, 2025. Now we're in 2026. That's great. I guess, how do you feel about now betting on college sports and players getting paid? I guess we can talk about that if you really
Well,
want
I
to.
can't do any of that because my affiliation with University of Athletics, but I'm sure
Oh,
that's great for other people.
really? I didn't know you were not allowed to comment on that.
Nope. It's one of the first things. Actually, I can comment all I want. I can't do it. It's one of the first few things that was brought to my attention when I was hired. And so we seem to have an online tracking system. And so my name anywhere and instant let go. Any university athletic employee.
So we're gonna scratch. We're gonna probably take that out.
Oh, the topic?
Oh yeah,
Sounds good.
100%. Yeah, I'm bet on the Tide. I think. Let's just say, yeah, I'm gonna bet on the Tide. Whatever the spread is, I think they cover. I think Phylon goes off for another great game. I think Aiden Holloway and Amari Allen help.
Latrell, let's see what Latrell can do.
Oh, or I guess, yeah, Latrell right side. There's a amount of scorers for Alabama. That's the thing I love about this team. Is anybody can be hot on any given day. But let's stick with some hot teams as well. Let's jump into the Big 12 matchup. And the Big 12, that is a wild, wild west.
Yes.
I believe. Arizona losing at home, their second loss in a row after starting 23-0 to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Texas Tech came in, had it close the first half. I know Kobe P went down, who's one of the stars for Arizona, and definitely because Arizona is a very pound the paint, rebound great team, and they lose one of their great big men. But I guess JT Toppin, who a lot of these older guys won't get a lot of love, like I believe Cam Boozer probably will win National Player of the Year, had 31 points, and Texas Tech hits a big three late to take the lead. I know Arizona tied it up to force overtime, but Texas Tech escapes with the win. Nick, how do you feel about this game and what it means for either of these teams? Do you think Texas Tech can go all the way?
If you perform like you did in that game, I mean, you could do anything.
Oh, yeah, especially
the tournament is yours. I mean, holy. Like, at one point in the game, Arizona had I don't want to mess this up, 90 something percent chance to win the game. And then Texas Tech just gets in their bag. And next thing you know, we're in OT.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just neck and neck. And all Arizona has to do is make a three to tie the game up again. And they miss it.
I think that's one of their weakest spots, honestly, is from three-point range. They shot 4 for 16, 25%. I know Arizona shot 11 for 33, which is definitely a big thing. But I think when you lose Cole Pete and they can stay healthy, I think the key to beating this Arizona team is staying with them on the boards. I know he went down, so probably changed a lot. 39-41, and if you can play with a team like this for 37 to 40 minutes, this is the way you beat them. They're lengthy, they're long. Texas Tech coach said you don't realize when they're defending how fast they really are.
Yeah.
But I think if you spread this team out, you really can beat them.
Yeah. Now, obviously, your question was about Texas Tech, and I kind of took away from that, but with Arizona's mistake there in the end. But yeah, no, Texas Tech, I mean, just rallying like that and keeping up. They can do that with number one team, which was the number one team in the country.
I believe they fell to like 4 I don't want to be mistaken.
Yeah,
Let me.
and so Arizona's still up there in the polls. Obviously, the polls are subjective, and these are, we're not going to get into that. But
Oh yeah, and I think Texas Tech's resume is great. Barely lost to Kansas, a couple weeks ago. Beat BYU, who I don't know how strong of a team that is. I know they barely beat Colorado with Wright putting up 39 points for them. With the Bandson, I know he can always go up, but they also beat a great Houston team.
Duke, they beat Duke.
They did beat Duke at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, they beat Houston after losing to them weeks prior. Yeah. No, it's all up for Texas Tech, and that's just a team just to be on the lookout for in the March Madness.
I know. I feel like they get lost with all the Texas teams. Like no one really thinks about Lubbock, Texas. You think about A&M,
Yes,
Baylor. Baylor's a small one. That's not a great example. Texas. I just think they're one of the smaller teams, and I think they won a few years ago. I remember they beat Virginia in the national title game. I think this is a really good sleeper team. I think they can win it all. I think they have the numbers, and if they consistently play this well, they face the top-notch teams that have knocked them off.
Yeah,
I think they can win it all.
Sounds like we're talking about Texas Tech football in the early days of December.
Oh yeah, that defense, man, but no offense reminds me of all the teams the Patriots faced off in the playoffs, besides before they played Seattle.
Different subject.
Oh, yeah, but we don't have to go on to that rant because, man, I could talk about that for days.
You see what I did there? I'm just teasing David with the subject and then making him stop.
Yeah, because our ADHD, man, it'll kick in, and our normal conversations.
But see, I do that on purpose, though, so,
Normal conversations will go off the rails.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about one thing and talk about another thing. It's great.
It's happening right now.
Oh, yeah. But let's stay on track. Kansas, Iowa State. Kansas comes into Iowa State after beating number 1 Arizona at the time, giving them their first loss, barely, without their star point guard, Darren Peterson, who's probably going to be a top 3 draft pick, maybe number 1, has had injury concerns. He was most likely to play and then ruled out before the game due to sickness. He comes back. I believe he may have had the flu, and that can take forever to come back.
Yeah.
All right, Kansas versus Iowa State. Kansas comes into Iowa State losing by almost 20 points, having Darren Peterson comes back after they beat the number 1 team without Darren Peterson. I think this Kansas team I think this Kansas team is a really great team. I think Peterson, he's been sick about 11 games, so I think this really, and I don't think they even moved in the polls. I know they're subjective. I don't think this really hurts them. I think they'll be a strong team. I think they can win it all if Peterson's able to stay healthy. And I believe he's just the X factor they need because they're a great team without him, but I don't think they're that championship team that those top 4 teams have. And I think Iowa State, I think they're a great team. I don't think they win it all. Not saying they can't, because anybody can, but I don't think they do. I don't think they have a number 1 guy. Yes, they can. They have 3 guys that can help them score in spurts, but I think this is a great win, and I think they are a Final Four Elite 8 team, but I truly think Kansas is still the better team. I think it was just a hiccup, bad game, Peterson coming off of sickness, trying to get healthy, and yeah, I think right now they're hanging in with Houston. They're beating Houston actually 43-40. That'll be a great win if they can do that, and it'll shut me up right now if they win that game as we go on. This is there at halftime, but let's jump into the next game. Kentucky, Florida. Florida beats Kentucky 92-83. Score at the end doesn't say how really good it was or how close it really was. I know free throws were shot at the end. I think Florida's the hottest team in the nation. I think it was number 1 versus number 2 at the time in the SEC. I think they're a great team. I think that's going to be a hard team to beat. And I think where they started to now where they finished, started from the bottom, now they're here. I think they can win. I think they can win it all again. They have, I think, the best front court with Condon and Condon and Thomas Hall, where I think they have the best cutting bigs. And I think that's going to be a really dangerous team. Nick, your thoughts on these 2 teams? How do you feel about them?
I've already thrown my thoughts on Florida. I think. Actually, no. I just share my thoughts about the distaste of losing like that to Florida. Being without being losing Alabama losing to Florida in that manner. I can't talk. And so yeah, Florida is I think one of the hottest teams. Todd just has some boys. Don't have to hate Todd either because he was one of the biggest haters about the Charles Bediako saga as well. And so, but yeah, Todd has some boys going. And I mean, they just I forgot how many losses they have. Obviously, we talked about one of their losses earlier. But
Auburn. They have 6. They're
Yeah.
19-6, 10-2 in the SEC.
yeah, they play South Carolina tomorrow. The Gators.
Oh, they're gonna
Um,
kill them.
But sorry, not sure why it's so hard to find the standings of a college basketball team on Google right now. But anyways, I'm buying time. Okay, so they've lost 6. Really?
Yeah, they had their hiccups. They've also played some great teams. I'll go into their schedule. They lost the first game to Arizona before anybody knew they were going to be a juggernaut. Lost to Duke
They
by
lost to
1.
Missouri.
Okay, that's a really shitty loss.
Yeah,
They lost
January 3rd.
what, first SEC game? So yeah, I feel like that team has come so far. They barely beat FSU, who FSU is awful. They lost to UConn by
They
4.
lost to UConn. They lost to Duke. Yeah, you already mentioned Arizona. That still sound like 6 to me. Okay, Auburn. Yeah, no. I mean, Florida's very hot, but they got weaknesses, and we gotta Nate Oates has to figure out. Nate Oates has a Florida problem. He has to figure out how to exploit Florida's weaknesses, a lot like these other teams have. And so, I believe we have a Florida problem, and we have to solve it because we haven't beaten Florida as long as I've been a college student here at the University of Alabama.
I hope they don't play them in the SEC tournament because we'll get knocked out.
Yeah, because we've been knocked out.
Because they're just so good. Like Xavier Lee, the guy from Princeton, the shooter. I think at the beginning of the season, he thought he was at Princeton and just chucking it. But now and he shot 7 for 12, had 22 points. He's a dangerous guy. That's just a really complete, deep team. I think last year they went far because they had 11 guys that could play. And I picked them personally to win it all. And that's rare it even happens. But I guess let's look at the losing side. Kentucky, I don't see this as a huge loss. And I believe
92 to 83, not at all.
And I think the score was a lot closer than it says it was. But I think where they've come, we beat them pretty badly here first time around.
Yeah.
But I think this team really
does not have a Kentucky problem.
No, not at all. I think really the coach, he was taking all the blame at first. And I think the players kind of said, we got to back up our coach. And they looked themselves in the mirror. And they've really stepped it up. I think this team is hot too. I think this is a moral win. I know moral wins kind of bullshit when you come to think about it. No one likes to lose a game. But to play at Florida and barely lose and keep up with them, I think that's a great loss. I think the tournament, they always look at there's good losses. And I think this is a great loss for Kentucky. And we'll see how they finish the season out. They play at Georgia, who's struggled so much down the stretch. They play at home against Georgia, which I believe will be a win. At Auburn, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, and they play home against Florida at the end. So that'll be a really interesting game. I think they'll win majority of those. Vanderbilt's.
Oh my gosh, they played 3 times? No, they played twice.
Twice.
Okay.
I believe Vanderbilt will be a tough game. I don't know how good that Vanderbilt team is. I personally think they're a little bit fraudulent. I haven't watched too many Vanderbilt games, so I'm not going to comment on it. We're a different team now. I think we'd beat them.
Okay, it just happened.
That happened last month.
About 3 weeks ago?
So wait, do you know how injured we were?
Okay, yeah.
I'm also, you got to think about it. We both go to here. We both go
that's
here.
True. That's true.
So I'm going to be biased. It's Vanderbilt.
Right. Sure.
We'll really see when Tennessee goes up and plays them in Nashville this weekend. That'll be a great game.
Great tell.
But I think the SEC's deep again, not as deep as it was last year, but I think they'll have a solid 8 or 9 teams back in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll just be fun. I always, no matter what, I'll root for the SEC. You know what? I shouldn't say that. Will not root for Auburn. I really won't. I'll root for Tennessee because my dad went there, but I will not root for Auburn.
Rooting for Tennessee is crazy. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see how fraudulent according to David. This Vanderbilt team is, but they were ranked before we had played them too. By the way, but
They're undefeated, I believe.
are they?
No, they're not now. But
weren't.
when we played them, yeah, I believe they lost to Florida.
Wow.
But let's jump out of the SEC and let's go to the ACC, the All Coastal Conference, where
Nope, you lost me.
even California and Stanford can play in that conference, which I don't know. Conferences are weird now. I remember when there was like 7 big conferences. Now there's just like 4 or 5, it just feels like, and California, Stanford, and I feel like the time change really hurts people. But Duke versus Clemson. Clemson able to hang around first half 31-26, I really think, and then Duke kind of blowing them out of the water, winning 67-54 at Cameron Indoor, which I believe is the hardest place to play in all of college basketball. You can argue North Carolina is, Kansas is, but I think you go to Duke and you're not winning. You're just not, personally. They got the National Player of the Year in Cam Boozer coming out with 18 points, and then they just played a great game. The second half was great. Ngo, I believe that's how you pronounce that name.
Sure.
Ngongba, the second. I think he went out 2 fouls early on. He's such a defensive enforcer there. I think he's like a hockey goalie where he just feels like there's a whole different energy. They change their defensive scheme and rebounding. He comes out, plays the whole second half, and they put it on Clemson. I think that's the biggest defensive factor.
Yeah.
And I believe this Duke team has the highest ceiling of anybody this year in all of March Madness. They have the most amount of talent, and I think no one really gets past them. This Clemson team, it's an all right team. I don't know. Clemson's always a weird team. They can be good. They can be bad. I feel like when they come in worse, it's the tournament. They play great in the tournament. When they come in better to the tournament, they play worse and get bounced early, like they lost to McNeese State, which I think I picked Clemson to go Sweet 16 last year. But I think it's a great win for Duke. Clemson has a lot of things to work on. Normally they give Duke problems, but yeah, I think this Duke team is my favorite to win it all. I don't know. You can agree. You can agree with me on that, or
it's either Duke, Arizona, or Florida, or maybe that Texas Tech team we were talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't forget Michigan too.
Oh yeah, Michigan. I haven't seen Michigan play. I'm gonna be so for real. But
they play. I believe they play Purdue this week.
Won't watch it. Just kidding. When is it?
It's tomorrow night. I guess let's look
I'll be busy.
Let's look at this week.
Yeah.
You do. You're gonna be coaching a game.
Real.
I will watch it. Purdue back up to number 7. Some great games on the rest of this week. Michigan, Purdue tomorrow. Miami, Ohio. 25-0. Have not watched a single game of theirs, but they are yet to lose. I know the swim team comes out in their Speedos, and the coach said if they go undefeated and win the conference tournament, he may have to dress out in a Speedo one time, not as a coach, but just in general. That team is going to get bounced in the first round, I feel. Not first round, excuse me, second round. Or they come in as 11 seed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very high on that team. And then let's keep looking. That'll be an interesting game. Alabama, Arkansas Wednesday night. BYU, Arizona rematch will be at Arizona. I will take Arizona in that game over BYU.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other great games. I guess we'll look fast forward to Friday. St. Louis Dominicans, which is like a little Magic Dream Warrior. They right now are 24-1, sitting number 18 in the AP poll. Play VCU, so 11-2 in the A10 conference. Saturday, Tennessee Vanderbilt, believe it will be a great game. And Houston, Arizona will be in a fantastic game, which I'm very excited to watch. That'll kick off here, Central Time, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. And then at night, Iowa State, BYU, which I could see BYU dropping both of these games. I don't see them sweeping. Could see them going 1-1. But, yeah, Nick, give us your picks for, I guess, this. Oh, and Michigan plays Duke. Oh, my God, how could I miss that one? Give me your pick, Michigan or Duke. I know you haven't watched a lot of Michigan.
I have seen Duke a bit.
And it's in Washington,
what the
D.C.
hell? Let's do Michigan.
Michigan wins. Wow, that ticket price is $347 just to get in. I would not pay that. I'll go Duke on this one.
Yeah.
I guess we should have a pick segment probably,
Maybe so.
and then have like our records at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And let's go with
Dude, I'm shooting darts blindly.
Iowa State BYU.
Let's go BYU.
I'll take Iowa State on that one.
I'm like a guest picker. I have no ball knowledge behind it, but I'm just going with what I feel if it feels right.
Feels right. Honestly, that could be an interesting game. Iowa State could slip. I think they beat Houston, but I think after that emotional two wins, I think they lose that game. I don't think they're that consistent. But Arizona, Houston.
That Arizona team, man, they just gotta figure out how to not let teams like Texas Tech creep back up on them and win in overtime. Let me take Arizona though.
Take Arizona.
I feel like that's a loss. I feel like every great team needs a loss, like what happened over the past whichever day that was. Let's say Arizona bounces back here.
Bounce back. I know so far we literally have went against each other. I'm going to take Houston. I think they're a great defensive team. They could lose to Iowa State. I think they're going to be hungry. It's at Houston. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
But give me Houston. Let's go up to the SEC. Tennessee Vanderbilt.
As much as I, was trying to convince you that Vanderbilt is legit, I think I have Tennessee here.
I agree with you on that one. I'm going to go with the Volunteers coming off strong with Gillespie and Ament and Acaporo at the defensive helm. All right, and I guess let's do the other games. BYU Arizona earlier this week. I know we're kind of going backwards in order. Who do you have for that one?
BYU Arizona?
Yeah, at Arizona.
At Arizona. Ooh. I think I got Arizona.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Arizona probably is going to kill BYU. Michigan plays Purdue tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern at Purdue. Boilermakers had a little rough stretch. Now they're back at number 7. I'll go first for this pick. I hate Purdue with every passion. I hate Brandon Smith. I hate their guard. I got to remember his name, but he has a Thomas the Train face.
Yeah.
I believe it's Fletcher. I do not like Fletcher. Do not a fan of Brandon Smith. Give me Michigan to just wax them. Wax them and just outright slaughterfest. Nick,
Wow.
what's your pick for that game?
My pick, Purdue and
Michigan.
Let's see. Once again, I haven't seen Michigan play. I've seen Purdue play. I saw that right up close when they beat us here in Tuscaloosa.
That was an awful weekend. We lost to Oklahoma that weekend as well.
Oh, we did. And I was like, no way we go 0-2 in our athletic events at home. And we did. Because of the fact that I've seen Purdue, I'm just gonna have to go with Purdue here. Let's say I don't know, Purdue looked like a legit team the last time I saw them play was back in November.
Wow. Yeah.
But hey, no, I'm kidding. Let's go Michigan here. Just because it's kind of hard to pick Michigan and not know anything about them. And Connor's going to edit this pick out because this pick makes no sense. So, just kidding. Going Michigan here.
Going Michigan. Both of us going Michigan.
Connor, I'm trusting you with my life.
I guess this is not really going to be a high, interest game. I think it'll be a really big bubble game, bracket game, whatever you want to call it for the tournament. Louisville, SMU. At SMU, Louisville is favored by 3.5 points.
You know a lot about these teams?
I've seen Louisville play a couple times. They've got blown out each time I watched them play. SMU, who I believe is one of my dangerous teams. I've seen them play a couple times. I love their guards. I'm going to take SMU in the upset here. I think the Red...
All right, so I'm going to do the opposite of what you do, and I'm going to take Louisville.
You're going to do it for John?
Who's John?
CTP guy. He's...
Yeah.
You
gotta do it for him. Yeah, because he's from, they're from up there.
Yeah. Do it for John, man.
Hey. Starting to lose my mind.
I could tell.
I think I'm